Hello everybody, welcome. This is Space Engineers 2 First Look. This is going to be the first time I'm going to be playing a game. It's literally only just released. I've just taken a moment to have a little look at some of the controls and get the settings looking right. So just to give you an idea, I've got the music level down so you can hear the music, but it won't be overpowering. Graphics wise, we're just on extreme mode so you can see the best of it. I don't think there's any higher we can go with any of these settings. Display, we're just at full. V-Sync's on. I'm actually going to turn V-Sync off and see if we can get a bit of a faster frame rate out of it. Yeah, well that's fine. Game's fine there. Any tooltips and stuff will be helpful, so we'll keep notifications and things on. Yeah, should be fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to new game. Let's see what the game options are. Real campaign, there's going to be a campaign, but it's not available yet, and so is the survival mode. That's not available yet. Creative's on, worlds are on. We're going to go creative. I believe that'll load us into the facility that we've seen before from Space Engineers initial previews that you've seen from Keen and Splitsy and other popular creators. So we're just loading straight in. It should be hopefully quicker. Yeah, it's quicker than Space Engineers 1. Okay, so we start off in a third-person view. Sounds great. The lighting's pretty good as well. Yeah, everything looks great. Let's see if the default controls still work. So V, yep, change view. Yeah, that's interesting. Shadow. No shadow. Okay, so first person view does not give you your own shadow. I guess that makes it easy for building. Takes the pressure off. X is still jetpack. Great. Let's have a look at the blocks that are available to us. So let's just get landed again. Whoa, that's nice. Okay, so blocks available to us. Let's just go through in sequence. So complement of armor blocks. Seems pretty standard. Automation blocks, buttons, they're just buttons. Character gear, paint gun and a debug tool. One antenna, a couple of different control seat options, voxel hands. Some detailing cubes, those are our small 0.25 meter ones. Solar panels and a reactor, not very many power options there. One door, some lights. One cargo container, no conveyor network ports though, so absolutely nothing on conveyor network there. Hopefully we find it in one of the later categories. Movement gravity generators, gyroscopes, landing gear and ion thrusters. One assembler, one refiner, which I believe are not active yet because there's no survival modes, so no need to actually be producing stuff yet, but they're there to place and have a look at. One medical room. Structural stuff, so catwalks, handrails, a few window slopes, more handrails and stairs and a ramp. Some interior wall parts. Okay. Right, mirrors, so windows. Windows? Mirrors? Windows. One drill and one type of Gatling cannon. So yeah, I don't think. I guess the Gatling cannon would work in creative because there's no limits there, but yeah, we're going to be kind of limited to what we can build because we have no conveyor network options. So what we'll have to do is try and find a way to build that we can leave room to put the conveyor network in when it becomes available. In the meantime, the ship will fly because of ions, but we won't have any hydrogen thrust. I'm guessing maybe that won't be part of the game. We'll have to see. So we're going to look at starting at least the shell for our well, Prime Meridian style ship. It's not going to be the Prime Meridian because obviously we don't have the facilities to create that straight away, and I'm going to freehand this. So start a new grid. That's the interesting thing as well. If you don't start a new grid, it will automatically snap to whichever grid you're looking at, no matter how far away it is. Right, we're going to try and go for something that fits into this sort of docking area space. Maybe we'll give ourselves a bit more room. And we're going to pull out 150 meters of blocks here. So just left clicking and pulling. No, not that kind of block. Undo. That's interesting. Something just happened there that's very interesting to me. Right, press R to change our grid type. There we are. That, okay, so we've got all wonky there. Let's try and get some alignment going on here. So we're aligned to that. If I go new grid, we should still be aligned to it. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to pull out as much of 150 meters as we'll let us. Okay, there's a limit. Can we go one more? Oh. That's interesting. Okay, we could get to about 75 meters and then it starts going a bit squiffy, so we'll plot another 75 meters. Come on. Come on. There we are. Right, that's 150 meters. That's going to be the length of our ship. It's going to make this red oh, there's a save. We still get the little hitch when you save. This is going to make the red ship look tiny. So, right. It might even get longer than this. That's just the spine of it. So, I need to colour it. So I guess what we're going to need to do is get our paint gun. R for context menu. Pick a colour. There's no skins yet, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to colour code everything. If I hold that down till the countdown timer runs out, should do the whole thing. Right. So this is going to be the colour of our conveyor network. We're going to assume that we're replacing these blocks with actual conveyors when they become available. So we've got our central spine there. Now, every good ship is going to need a secondary spine. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to place, let's see, do we have, oh okay, we've got most of our block types on the bar already. Cargo containers. So on the bottom of our spine, I think what we're going to do is place cargo containers. So we're going to go, let's see, is that, if I hold mouse button and push, okay, one, I'm assuming it's got a port on top and bottom. Yeah, it does. So this thing's going to need, oh, actually maybe, no, cargo containers on the front. Let's undo, Control Z. Cargo should be kind of centralized. So this is going to be a totally different layout structure to our, do you know what? Let's try and get these the right way around. Right, how do we rotate? So I believe if we hold down Control and then use our WSADs. There you go. Yeah, that's the right way up now. So I don't know any of the stats of these cargo containers yet, so I'm just going to place 4 of them down in the center and then access the cargo containers to get an idea. There's no clue at all of what size these are. So all I know is we've got 4 cargo containers here, somewhere kind of near where the bulk of the weight of the ship's going to be. It is what it is. Do we have access to a different size of cargo container? If we press R, okay, there's small ones as well. Small ones are good. That might be actually the size of the actual conveyor network. So we're going to have to possibly consider the fact that these bits here, this beam here is going to be way too big for the cargo container, for the network. But that's okay. I'd rather it's too big because then we've got a way to make it accessible. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's another... Oh, there's an intermediate size, that size. Yeah. This is interesting. Yeah, it's slightly problematic not knowing what size anything's going to be. We are going to... in here... Let's see, it's big all the way around. I'm making sure we can get a connection right the way through it. So literally it's like big, big, littles showing to the sides. Sounds are so much better. Right. Okay. Good, good, good. I think we need paint gun time, and we're going to pick a different colour now. So, R. We're going to do these cargo containers grey. This is going to be kind of very military styled ship. Little freeze for a save there. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So yellow is still the bits that we're going to be removing. Perfect. Right. Now what do we need? 7 I believe is... yeah, those. So if we hold down control and it's the WS. I think what they've tried to do is try to prevent us from needing too much of the sort of second hand over on the page up, page down, all them keys. So they've made it so you can kind of one hand on the keyboard, one hand on the mouse all the time. And we'll do the other side, then we're going to set symmetry mode up. That goes, no, that way around. Just drag these out. I gotta get used to the fact that we can more easily do so. I'm not used to playing in creative mode very often, so I tend to do just builds in creative mode, but then spend most of my time in survival mode because we're doing series with those builds. Right, let's set up some sort of a symmetry mode on here so that we don't end up doing everything twice. So let's find the end. I think we have to have a block in our hand. T for symmetry mode. Is that the right? That's the first plane. Okay, so place that plane. Exit T. Yes. Easy as that. Great. Now, again, what we're aiming to do here is keep everything accessible. So even the conveyor network this time is going to be fully accessible. Right, in that space there, I think we need to... Now, I can't just place these... Yeah, place a wall on top of that because that's going to encroach into the next block's space. It's not as big a problem as it used to be. Oh, that's interesting. Looking through the plane shows the grid on certain objects. So I think this is one of those uses for the detailing block. So on 9. Let's see, what's that? That's not the one I want. I want a straight cube. Yeah, cube. And we're just going to basically start from this end here. Well, let's get the rest of the... Now, let's get the rest of these catwalks in first. They're not catwalks. What do we call it? I can start replacing things with catwalks eventually. I keep going for the insert home delete pack. I need to get used to the WSADs with control. So the whole length of this will have this sort of access conduit. For now, we'll start replacing stuff with other parts so that everything's accessible from different areas and we can have like corridors running off. Again, this is the best way to do it, kind of, if you're eyeballing a build like this, you sort of work on the large scale and then start sort of chipping into it and spidering off as you go. So this is kind of turning into a slight of a how to build sort of video. Now then, actually no, I think I might have to actually cover the whole top, because if we take out these blocks here, we'll no longer have anything covering that side there. So, okay, we can do it with ease. Let's go for the alternate variant. Come on, that one, yep. And we will rotate you and place you on top. Now this is where we use precision mode to go over one. And that didn't do anything. But now I can drag it out. Saving. And this is how you make a super long central spine corridor. Oh, okay, we can't drag out that far, of course. Okay, let's continue. And again, at places we can sort of take these out and put detail in. Great. And one in the middle for good measure. So we're basically building just a big sort of box that's going to be our spine. Leave that out. I am liking the extra precision. Nice. Okay, so now what we have, apart from this bottom line here, which I'm not sure what we're going to do with yet, but we have an accessible, let's get in there. Put our lights on. So this, considering this will be the conveyor, so this will be entirely accessible all the way down this corridor, with occasional access to material. Well, yeah, I'm assuming that those will eventually give access to materials because they're on the cargo containers, but they'll give access to repair the cargoes. Fantastic. Right, so we need to put lights in here. Because I know that at the moment it's kind of premature to put lights in you know, small details in corridors and things, but with the scale of this thing, it's going to be impossible to remember to do it if we don't do it now. So we have to consider where we want our lights to be. Do we want them in the bottom like this? Do we want them in the... well, we don't want to put them on this side because that's going to be removed. So maybe we put them across the top. No, bottom, maybe. Let's go in the middle of each of these blocks just to be a little bit more, because if we go over the... Do we go over the... Ah, yeah. Control Z. I think this kind of ties the blocks together nicely. This might be too many, but I think it's going to look cool when you see them all in a long line. It's maybe too many. Maybe we do every other one. Now, this is going to make putting doorways and stuff in here slightly more difficult. Yeah, actually. I do love the undo feature. You can undo 20 steps, I think. 1. Miss that whole one. Do the next one. Then we got a space for a door. 1. Miss a whole one. Next one. Because then we're leaving spaces that we could take out, put a door in. It doesn't mess up the whole sort of aesthetic of the pattern of the lights. Okay, so in my last big build on Space Engineers 1, which was where we actually designed the Prime Meridian initially, a lot of the feedback we got was regarding people wanted to see more of the build process with less cutout. So that's pretty much exactly what we're starting here, but with the new game, most of the principles you can apply to either game, but some, like being able to place blocks inside of like block spaces like this, you just won't be able to do on Space Engineers 1. That's entirely new. Right, so that's... Oh. This is moving. Somehow this whole grid started floating away. That's going to be kind of interesting. Right, and does that mean our symmetry's gone? No, it hasn't. Okay, well, my ship's floating away while I build it. There's not really anything I can do about that until I've got the means to give it propulsion, which we're a little way away from. So I guess we're going on an adventure while we're building this. I have no idea how it started floating away. Possibly it inherited some of my movement because I landed on it, which would mean that all grid sizes, well actually there's only one grid size now, so I'm guessing a player can have an influence over just about any grid as long as it's not locked into something. I wonder if there's going to be static and mobile grids as a separate thing, or if all grids are going to be both and it just depends on whether you've anchored it or not. That'll be interesting. So there's a lot of unanswered questions right now, but I'm in for that. It's going to be a very interesting process of discovery. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what... Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I've got dampers off right now, so... I don't think you can automatically dampen to a grid anymore. At least I'm unaware of a way. Okay, so there's one of these sides, we've got an error on the lights, but we'll come back to that anyway at some point. For now though, I have a slight problem of my entire grid is trying to float away, and I'm not entirely certain how to stop it. So for the minute, I think this will be a good place a good time to put some sort of thrust on this thing. So for now, let's pick a couple of large thrusters up. Just for the minute, we'll go bam. I don't know why our some forward and back thrusting on the end of here. And then we'll have the means to actually keep this thing stable. Okay. So our grid's now able to stay stable. Which means now I can start to figure out what's going on with my lights. This one. Those sounds you're hearing are basically the thrusters automatically dampening for my movement on the ship. Which is an interesting thing. So that's another thing we have to take into account now. People moving around the ship will cause physics which need to be countered. And now that's interesting. Got a bit there that kind of doesn't make sense, but now we should be right. Right. We're still rotating though, so we need to give this system some gyros. So what we need to do, let's find our gyroscopes. 1 gravity generator, 6 is reactor, cargo container. Do we have a gyroscope on our bar? Yes, we do. Gyroscope, right. So we could go for little gyroscopes, or we could go for a really big one. I think we go for something large and we put it on here. So this is again the cargo area, so each side of the cargo area I think we need to put some sort of a large gyro on there. Let's turn our symmetry back on. Right. I think possibly we need to place it dead center. Is that dead center enough? Okay, we're gonna have to put it. Let's go 1 block away from there. Now, is that the right way up? Yes. Okay, so that's 1. And 1 block away from there on this side. No, that's not 1 block away. Go. 2 big gyros should be more than capable of keeping us from floating away any further. So then that'll keep us rotationally stable. Right, good start. Now we don't want to keep our thrusters like that all the time, so we're going to eventually have to move them. We could possibly put like a little spike sticking out the back somewhere and stick a little thruster pack on it to keep this whole thing stable, but yeah, in fact, let's do that. So, in fact, we've got this one here. Let's just pop some thrusters on like that. And then all we're needing is the one on the front, which we've already got. Now we can take off this one, this one, this one. I will leave that on there. Right, it's out of the way now. Right, so gyros are like that. So the core of the ship is a main spine, cargo, gyros. Gyros is a good idea to keep in the center anyway. How many blocks is it? It's 3 blocks wide, which we haven't really left enough space in between these for anything like that. So maybe we also place some of our other production facilities in here. So let's say, what's number 6? Is a reactor. Yes. Power reactor thingy. Couple on there. Alright, how do I get it to snap more centrally? Not sure. But I need to know where our port is on this thing. Also, it's not going to connect directly to that because I think we need to have a cargo container in the middle of there for now. What other sizes of cargo do we have? We have massive ones and little ones like that. Probably get away with doing that. Okay, I'm just going to assume that that is going to work for the moment. Okay. Reactors. What's that? That's a gravity generator. What was our reactor again? 6? No. Hang on. Yes. Right, let's look at the variants. We've got little reactors like this, which would actually fit on these blocks quite nicely. I'm not sure just having a few, 2 or 3 little reactors like this would be actually useful. But we could definitely do a couple. So if I place them, say, sideways like that. Say, yeah. Oh, I wonder. Let's get rid of these for a second. Oh, freeze there. Keep that one like that. Keep that one like that. I'm hearing sounds. Oh, it's the reactors. These things look cool. Right, okay, that's something. I'm debating whether we need to put larger versions of these on. Right, what's the small? That's the smallest size, the one we've got, and then we've got the big size here. So if we had, let's see, I need to see. This is part of the problem. You don't really get to see what a grid looks like until it's sort of placed. Okay, I can see that's where there's going to be that. I could do with... No, we're going to take you off. Definitely going to take you off. That lines up, that doesn't. Okay. You can see where the crosshair is there to line up with the main grid, but that's not going to connect because we're 1 block short because of all this other stuff that's on. So yeah, okay, that is interesting. I think our reactor should be on the side of here. So any way to see if that's going to be where the connection is? Well, we know that is. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Undo. T. Our symmetry's off again. Right. I wonder why symmetry keeps coming off. That's unusual. Right, big reactor. Big reactor. I think we go for... Yeah, well, this is a mega ship, so we're going 8 big reactors. And our 4 little token reactors on top, which are just like there for decoration, really. Right, which way do we want this to face? Yes. Yes. Right. So that's the situation we've got right now. We've got our 4 cargo containers, 8 reactors, 4 little reactors, 2 big gyros for now. We'll probably have to expand on that. Yeah, let's expand on the gyros a bit. Where are our gyros? They're on 3. Gyroscope. Okay. Yeah. So that's the same way up. Good. The ship's going to get longer than it is now, I think. Nope, you're a bit off. I think our center line may have... Either our center line's moved, or that gyro is not central. Okay, yeah, so let's... Oof. Our gyros, I usually want them to be sort of central to the whole thing, so I think maybe we lose... No, I don't think we lose those, because they're important, actually. Okay, let's try and get this dead center. Let's move that over enough. Where we want it? Nope. That's not where we want it. Placing blocks down is a little bit tricky when you're in symmetry mode. There we go, that's better. Perfect. Right, 4 big gyros. I'm starting to wonder if the gyros should be side-side rather than front-back. I'm thinking the physics might work better if they were sort of in the middle here, but then we're losing out on potential conveyor opportunities there. But this is just the core of the ship, this is just the engineering section. We're going to be expanding forward, back, left, right, up, down from here. It's a bit difficult this without actually having an actual conveyor network. It's quite of a tricky thing. Because right now as it stands, we can't pipe out to other things right now. We can only put in sort of temporary things that we would assume to be pipes, or put loads of cargo containers in. So this is where things get a little bit awkward. Right, so we're still building with mainly large blocks right now, but we're using that little extra bit of precision in there. Oh, that was interesting. Right, we've still got our big corridor through the middle here with what's going to be our conveyor line. Possibly, and another like layer of these underneath. So we'll need to keep access to that. Right, that's fine. Now we're possibly going to want to put some sort of conveyor junctions on some of these, so that we can bring them out towards like weapons and things like that. We've also got the ports on the bottom. We've got a lot of ports on the bottom that we can access there for whatever else is going to need these things. I think on top of here we use these for production facilities, so let's see what's on 8. That would be an assembler with what looks like is going to be upgrade modules. It is immediately snapping to the place we want it to be on. I think we go like that. What we're missing out on there? Ah, no. We've got... Our upgrade modules are actually only there, which is accessible from the top deck. I think that works out. Again though, I mean, getting that lined up, I guess that's where it's snapping to, so I have to assume that's right. So, 2, so, oh, where's our... Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the symmetry mode disappearing every now and again. I think it's when we pick a new block. No, it's not. Right. Now then. Okay, so it automatically, I think, snaps to where the... No, it doesn't. That's where the conveyor port would be. Is that where the conveyor port is? On that corner? Let's have a look. I need to come down a bit. Yeah, okay. So that's snapping straight to the conveyor port. Upgrades would be on... Oh, actually, from a style point of view, I'm not even certain if that works. But I think it kind of does. Right, let's get inside the ship and... Oh, I've got no gravity yet. Let's have a look. That's debatable. I think we need to raise them up a little bit. Right, okay. Yeah, it's at this point where we need to re-enable the symmetry, because we've been off our block tools. Okay, so these need to be raised up a bit, so I'm going to definitely place a block on each of these spots for now. Okay. For now, I think we have to use like a cargo container to sort of use, you know, to take up this spot, so... Okay, let's see. Yep, that has all the access points, but we want to turn it that way. Yes. Okay, they're not the right way up as far as the labelling on them is concerned, but that hardly matters. Not at the moment anyway. Right, so go to 8. Let's just make sure that that was right. Actually, no, that has to be that way around. And we've lost our... this is frustrating slightly. Okay, that's something definitely to watch out for. Right, is that right? The symmetry mode can just switch itself off at some random moment when you change tools or whichever. Do not assume it's going to be switched on. Right, that's one. 2. Right, and then 4 of them should be enough. Refineries, because we always take like full facilities with us on board when we go places, would be okay. So that has to be rotated. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Now you'll notice I'm placing all the heavy stuff to the core of the ship, all around that central spine. Protects that. It keeps the weight really close to the center, so maneuverability makes more sense. And then it allows space around the outside for like peripheral types of rooms that can protect all of this. Oops, I just bumped into something. Okay, good start. I'm liking those effects when you're looking through the shimmer of the symmetry plane. That's pretty sweet. Right. Upgrade slots room is going to be there. And there. Oh, that's interesting. The symmetries kind of put them the same way around as each other. Ah. I don't think it's taken rotation into account. Oh, I didn't mean to take off both. Turn off symmetry for a moment. That could be slightly problematic. It worked for these, because they're the same. But for these, you see, look, we've got our assembly window here and there, but not there. It's over here. So that's off. Let's check which way is the right way. So some limitations there with the symmetry mode. It doesn't reverse the rotation of the object, so that would be in the wrong way round. Just wouldn't have connected. So you may, for some blocks, need to manually do your symmetry. Same for these. Let's go 9. So that's interesting. You point at the conveyor, it immediately lines it up for you. Okay, let's get back in. Right, so control systems facing forward on here. Not on that one though. Did I do them all wrong? So because of the placement of that. It's going to be slightly offset. That's why I got it wrong. Well, for this one, but it doesn't have any excuse for those. But yeah, they're going to be offset. Unless... seven. Ooh. It's just refinery, but I think we need to... Yep. You know, that needs to come out with the big port there as well. So I need a side that has... That's not going to work. That would work, but only that way around. That's going to be problematic because I need a 4-way conveyor to match these. Problems, problems, problems. Okay, I have to assume that that small port will convey ores. Otherwise this refinery just isn't going to connect. So right, we're going to go from there. What was that? The cargo to... Oh, okay, that's nice. Right, so let's just check. Yeah. That lines up now. Okay. Oof, God. Right, so here, same thing again. Power container there. We just use the small ports to align. And stick our big ass refinery there. Yeah. Good. So 4 refineries in place. I mean, these ports are all just not going to line up because of the rotation on the refineries and the way they've been designed. I feel like we need to fill in these blocks a little bit. Undo. Again, it's not something we can do with symmetry, but let's put the symmetry back on there now because we can continue. Right. What was that noise? It's the engines. Right. So I think that's a start. We probably need to do something about this bit here. Big blocks use less PCU than doing lots of little ones, I think. But in the interest of... we don't necessarily need accessibility here, so I'm just going to fill those in to make something solid. No point using small blocks where you don't have to. Save them for detail and thin walls and stuff. Right. So we're just starting to build something out now that kind of makes sense. So let's put some of this out here. Hold down shift, is it? Yes. There we go. So a lot of these controls are kind of familiar, if slightly different. You can drag these out without having to hold shift or anything, but then you hold shift to do that. Oh, missed on that. No worries. Right, so our ship just got a tiny bit wider in the core. This is exceptionally difficult not having a conveyors right now. I'd love to be able to just basically have piped in a conveyor network between a lot of this and then start filling in where the floors and stuff go. I've got to figure out as well how we're going to gain access to this corridor for internal maintenance. So at some point around here, we're probably going to need to put like a staircase down and pull out one of these and put a door on it. So there will need to be access points to here, so it can't all be floor at this level. There's got to be points where the floor's offset down. So I think it's safe to say that we're going to need at least, I think maybe we go for small square, small cube, whatever. And we sort of make out an area where we're definitely going to need to access this bottom bit. I'm also thinking about the air tightness of this whole thing. Right. So likely here we're going to want to place struts all the way across. Yeah. It's pretty nice, that. And then here we're going to need to use one of our new rampy things, I guess. Do we have one on the bar? Two. Right, so this kind of looks like the old staircase without stairs. It's not so bad. I prefer the stairs version. We could build our own stairs in some way. They're probably not going to be as sweet as this. Now the question is, how do we want to place it? I think we do it like that. Oh, and there goes symmetry again already. Do we put it on the edge? No, keep the stairs compact in the middle. Symmetry, come on. And then we can pull one of these two doors depending on which one's got the light on it. So let's try this one. Well, that would have been the place where the light would have been, I think. Right there. I don't mind, we can fix the lights after. Right, so here I think we're going to need to probably fill this space in a bit. That's interesting. Right, so now we've got a floor here. Doesn't matter too much that it's not lined up with that. What we could do is use a detailing cube. Let's put a sort of ramp in there. Did it do it on the other side? No, it did nothing on the other side because, well, obviously that turned itself off again. Turn it off now for this bit. For the most part it tries to auto align, but doesn't necessarily get it right. That little bit of detail there is just so subtle, isn't it? I mean, we could put like a little rampy step down there, but does it stick up beyond the step? Probably does slightly. It'd be a trip hazard technically. I'm liking the details on these. It's a set of stairs, but it's got like weird plumbing in it. It's interesting. Right. Doors don't work at the moment, but I suppose we can put one in. So I guess that would go in straight into there, I guess. Does technically fit. Looks pretty neat actually. How does it look from the inside? That's its flush. Yeah. Quite perfect. Let's get the other one in. Can we go in one more so it's flush from the outside? We can. Oh, it won't go there. Because of... Yeah, because of that little rampy piece we put in. So that has to kind of go like that. Can we tidy it up from this side? Mostly. How far down do we go with that? To about there, I think. It's pretty stylish. Leave that for something else. So let's match that, and then we can put our whole thing back on our symmetry mode. Whoa, no, we don't want to go out that way. One too many. Neat. Right, so we've already got the start of like getting down to another level and getting into the main conveyor access spot, which should get us access to a lot more areas of the ship as well. Kind of almost Jeffrey's tube-ish, but you can stand up in these. Okay, all of this, every block is accessible to be repaired, upgraded, moved, whatever, which is great. Yeah. And we are starting to get used to some of the concepts in this, so the whole idea of having to hold control and using the WSAD, E and Q buttons to rotate blocks. The idea you can't hold a block up in the air and have a look at it. It just doesn't happen. So you kind of have to look at it in situ, like this. But that means I'm not taking my hand off all the time to go and reach for the home, end, delete, all them buttons. This is quite a neat little way of working. I think I need to go back to that size, fill in this space here. At least a bit. I think I don't want to do that right now though. I want to put that back on. Right, we're using thinner walls. So I think for like rooms and stuff, we're going to use these blocks for the walls, so that we're not using up an entire block space for just a wall between two rooms. And that's one of the problems we had with the last build. We were able to get around a lot of that by using corridor blocks for some of the walls, but you know, for major structural areas, we had like walls that thick between areas where they could have been like half of that and still done its job. So these are little things I am a little bit concerned about. 3 blocks there that don't quite belong. we've got a whole line here that doesn't belong as well. Go on. Neat. Right. So that's a first look at the game. From the outside of it, I would say this is extremely similar to the old Space Engineers, Space Engineers 1. The graphics and the lighting are much better. In fact, let's go and visit an asteroid briefly. Maybe we can fly this over there. Wow, this is big enough, I'm not going to lose it. So, let's get a bit of speed. Let's go to this one. Oh my god, no, the speed is actually up to 1,116 kilometers per hour. So if you can tell, that sort of tessellation going on here is phenomenal. And first person walking around on an asteroid isn't all goofy. I mean, that is pretty smooth and natural. Whereas before it would have been like, like all over the place. Really hard to follow. And if you use the mouse just to sort of counter a little bit, it's even more smooth. Walking animation. The lighting is great. Okay, let's go and head over to our ship again. You got the boost. Third person looks quite usable actually. I'm thinking that needs a ramp. If that's going to continue to be there, it's going to need some sort of a ramp. Let's have a look at it on stairs. Okay, we've still got that slight stairs problem when you're using mag boots. But of course, we're going to solve that problem a little bit by putting a grav gen on here eventually. Let's have a look at the crouch. The crouch is nice. Let's look at the landing animation from a slow landing. Not so much to talk about. Okay, let's get a little bit more speed in the downwards direction and look at the landing animation for... That moves the whole grid. You can hear the grid trying to calm itself down now. So that is an interesting fact, that if your engines are off on your ship and you're not anchored to anything, as much as a player landing on your ship can move the whole grid permanently until you stop it. I mean, we started building this over there. Like all the way over there, and it drifted from there to here in the amount of time it took us to build just a basic shell and put a couple of thrusters on it to protect it. So yeah, that's possibly one of the biggest revelations for me, because of the fact that there's no big, large grid, small grid. Large grids on Space Engineers 1 don't move when a player hits it, no matter what. Small grid, well, yeah, it did, but these are now omni-grid, like a universal grid system, and that means that you get the big grid benefit but with the small grid physics. So yeah, we've got to be careful. The detail on these blocks is great. The size of that gyro. Control panels still look familiar, but I like the tooltips, they're quite nice. Looks like a giant USB port. Yeah. It's good. We're limited right now by the block types. Very much so. I mean, a lot of what we place today, they're non-functional. They don't do anything. There's no cargo system yet. And therefore there's no functional production system or refinery system. None of those will do anything right now. I believe the gyros will work, the thrusters will obviously work because you need to be able to fly something around. But all these things will eventually start working, and some of these parts will probably have to start swapping out for some actual conveyor network. Our reactors are cool. Super cool. We're going to have to make sure there's control spaces around here, so this is kind of already dictated part of the height of the ship. It's going to have to come down lower than that because these are going to be a target. It's going to have to come a lot higher than that because again, these are a target. And it's possibly going to be a bit longer in both directions there, and certainly a lot wider. But this is kind of like engineering, power, and cargo. This is probably the only thing, this row of cargo containers here is the only thing that we haven't made accessible. But we'll make them accessible in some way from underneath, but it's not, well, they are kind of critical, but I think this section of the ship is going to be quite repairable. And quite well protected on top. Right, so I'm going to leave it here for now. This was just a first look. I need some time to absorb what I've learned today, so I'm sure you guys will. If you've got the game, get on there, get playing it yourselves. That's the best way to experience this. And I've got the whole of tomorrow left as well to explore this before I'm back to work. So yeah, surprise, surprise, I have to have a normal full-time job, and this is something I do in the spare time. So I've got another day booked off to look at this game. I'll try and get a couple more episodes worth of content out of this, and yeah, we will see you tomorrow, and in the meantime, enjoy the game, have a fantastic evening. Bye for now.